In today's video, we'll be looking at both of the Hopf Avengers and see where I'm going with them and what parts I already have accumulated. And yes, welcome back to Riviera RC, and we're going to be looking at the Hopf Avengers and see if I can make head nor tail of this RC boating malarkey. And what I shall do in a second, I shall bring you closer and we'll go through everything that came with this one when I picked it up, because I didn't just get the hull and the separate canopy for the green one. I also got a few bits and pieces with it, some of which I probably won't use, but some I could possibly use elsewhere. But yeah, so what I shall do is I shall bring you forward. I will move this one off for a second, and then I shall go through the bits and pieces. Happy days. Right, here you go. So quickly we'll have a look at the hull, which is in much better condition than the green one. As you can see, it's already got a carbon weave that's been put in on the inside. Oh, look, a propeller. So yeah, this one is ready for me to completely attack, and it has on the other end. I need a bigger area, don't I? Really? Ugh. The other end of it has no holes whatsoever. So the first thing I need to do with this one really is I need to take it to Ian. He's going to show me how to reinforce the seams where the top and the bottom parts of the mold were put together. We need to brace it on the insides, run some resin down the inside of the seam all the way down, including to the nose, to strengthen it a bit, because there are a couple of bits where it's not completely joined. Here's fine, but nearer the nose it's not. So that's something that I need to learn to do. But as I say, this hull is a darn sight better condition than the green one. So what do we plan to do with it? We plan to make it go fast. It won't be going extremely fast. So let's have a look at what I actually got with that. That hull, I have a 1492. Now, this is another thing that I didn't know about. Ian started going on when I first saw him, and he started going on about motors. Obviously, being just into cars, I only knew about 540s and 550s, but I didn't know that 540 is to do with the fact that it's 54mm, and they stick a 0 on because it sounds better. But when it comes to brushless motors, I didn't understand. Like, this is a 4092, which means it is 40mm by 92mm. Didn't know that. I also have to learn about the kilowattage and stuff like that. So this is an 800 kilowatt. It's a kV. Yeah. So as you can tell, very green around the gills, me. So yeah. So that's what came with it, as did this old rudder, which has a double pickup in it. It's quite a long rudder, so I don't think that was meant for this boat. I say it's a double pickup. It looks like they've actually drilled it through and it only comes in as one. So that's for water cooling, just because I'm talking about it like you know what I mean. What else came with it? A big old servo, which won't be used. A slightly smaller servo, which probably won't be used. And what else was there? And this prop, which apparently may be slightly too big. What are we going to do going forward? Well, going forward, I'm kind of thinking that this one may end up getting the same motor for the other green boat, and then these two will go as the dual drive. So we'll have twin props on the green one. That's a long way down the line. It may be used for something else. I don't know yet. Right. So what have we got in amongst all of these goodies? I'm going to get everything out of the bags so that it makes less noise, and then I will come back. Right, let's go through it all then, shall we? the motor I've decided to go through, because I'm going to be going with a single drive on the white hull, which won't be white when I'm finished. This is a 4082 and it's a 2000 kV. So that is the motor that will be going into it. Obviously, you need to cool stuff. So I have the cooling jacket for it, which water comes in, floods the whole site. Now, I didn't know how these worked. I'd seen them. I thought in amongst here, it goes in here and it goes round and round and round in tubes that cools the motor, but it doesn't. It has an O-ring, if you can see there. So basically the whole of the inside of that floods with water and then comes in one and out the other and then shoots out the side of the boat. So to pick up the water for here, you can either use the rudder. So this is the rudder system that I'm going to use, and this is a submerged drive. So it's going to sit slightly under the hull. So it will come out under the hull, so the prop will be submerged. But then you have these two little pickups here, and these pick up the water and then come up through here. So the water then gets forced to wherever you need it. So I haven't got a speed controller yet, but the speed controllers also come water cooled. So there's normally 2 ports in, 2 ports out. So what they normally do is, or some people do, is they'll go into the speed controller or loop around the other end and then come back out through to make it cool more if you're possibly going to be endurance or high powered or whatever. To keep it cooler, you could use 2. So you would basically come 2 off, go across, 2 through, 2 out, and out the boat. Now, you also then have the motor to cool. So I am probably not going to use these because I'm going to go for a different type of pickup, which, because if you think about it, if you want to look as scale as possible, you wouldn't have big tubes coming out of the top of your rudder on a real boat and going in through the hull. So these are little tiny pickups. So in the same way that water gets forced in through the rudder and then up and out, these sit flat in the hull, so the water gets pushed in through and then up. So everything is kept within the boat. So I have 2 of those. So they just get epoxied in or resined in to the bottom of the hull as flush as possible to create less drag. And then the water gets pushed in, up through. So you can have 2 here for the speed controller. So one going in one side of the speed controller, one going in the other side. And then these 2, I can have one for the motor going in, then another. I'm kind of thinking that on real boats, they have exhaust cooling to stop the exhausts from getting too hot as they exit the boat. And on the back of that boat, if you remember the hull, I won't pick it up now because it's too big. There were 4 like bits sticking up out of the hull, and I'm going to use those as fake exhaust ports. So I'm thinking one of these coming across, or even 2 of them, or whatever, I might end up using as water to come out of those. So the water will come shooting out the exhaust when it's going along, just so it looks like cooling. If it's not coming out of the exhausts, then we can have the tubing. We can have these, which will come out of the side of the boat. So they literally screw in through the side and the hose comes on. And then when you're racing, a lot of the time with the club that I go to, they race clockwise. So you have these on the side that comes past you, so you can see if actual water is coming out and it's actually cooling. So that is what will be used in the side of the boat. I have bought 2. Can you tell what colour the boat's going to be yet? who knows? Although I did buy all this when I only had the green hull. Now I have the white hull as well, and I'm kind of thinking of something completely different. Anyway, I have this, which is a motor mount for the motor to go on, and then that gets epoxied into the bottom of the boat as well at the angle so that the shaft comes down, which I haven't got the shaft yet. Ian has also made me twin battery trays, so these will be for 2 4S batteries. So it will be running 4S lipos, so that will go somewhere in the boat. Now, once I've got everything, we can lay it in the boat to see the sort of where the center line of the gravity should be, so that it's leveled up, so it's not too nose heavy, it's not too arse end heavy. So you want it sitting right in the water when it's going along. But you can always make these so that they do move slightly forward or slightly back. Other people say, well, you can, in amongst the nose in the front end, you could have a hole, because they always fill it with foam or something so that if it fills with water, it doesn't sink, because it's very expensive to sink. And they will jam a bottle of water in the front if the nose needs going down. So anyway, we'll get into that once we start building it and learning how to get the center of gravity right. We'll go into all the details of it. Right, what else do I have? These are for the rudder arms. So from the servo, these come out, and then you have these rubber boots. They obviously keep the water out. So I've got 2 sets of those for a minute. Tape for the canopy, because even if you have like some way of fixing it down, water could still get in. So they get tape, which they tape around to stop water getting in. Also, this connects the motor to the shaft, which I haven't bought the shaft yet. And these are trim tabs which sit on the back, and they can assist by flopping. These can be moved up and down. If you look there, they can be screwed down. These go to the back of the boat. There's bolts that go through, and you can move these up and down, and that also affects the way that the nose of the boat sits when it's going along. See, there's lots and lots to learn in this boating malarkey. So yeah, so that's all the bits I've got so far. I'm looking forward to trying to get it all together. Yeah, so that's a lot of bits and pieces there, and I still haven't got it all yet, but I'm hoping one day this week I'm going to be going to Ian's. I'm going to learn how to do the mixing and whatever for the fiberglassing and the resin, etc. And then I can start doing some videos of me prepping the hull and prepping this canopy. And I know that this is open because they were going to be using it for a nitro or petrol boat. I'm going to completely seal it on the inside, and then once it's completely sealed on the inside, I might, because water won't be able to get in then, I might end up putting a nice little grill across here. But anyway, we'll do that when we start going into the boat in depth and actually doing all the details with it. So yeah, there you go. That's boating. Sorry if I've waffled a lot. I have to learn the terminology, the boating terminology. And yeah, here's to the next video. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far. Take care. See you sometime soon. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.